Hi students, in this video we are going to discuss about metabolism of amino acids. Amino acids undergo for metabolism with the help of transamination and deamination process. So first we have to know about the amino acid pool. So that is nothing but the source of amino acid. So amino acids can be obtained by dietary proteins or by the breakdown of body proteins. Body proteins are nothing but structural and functional proteins can be undergo for degradation, and they can be broken down into amino acids, and that amino acid enter into the blood circulation. Next, dietary proteins can also supply amino acids upon breakdown. So dietary proteins are nothing but the proteins what we are taking daily. So diet, through the diet what we are taking, the proteins can be undergo for broken down into amino acids. So finally all the amino acid enter into the blood circulation, so that we are calling as amino acid pool. So that amino acid can be utilized for production of new proteins or production of nitrogen compounds, examples creatinine, urea, etc. So amino acid undergo for metabolism by the transamination and deamination reactions simultaneously. These two reactions occur simultaneously. So in transamination, transfer of amine group from amino acid to alpha ketoglutarate. So in the presence of transaminase enzyme, so the amino acid convert into keto acid by the receiving of amine group from amino acid. Alpha ketoglutarate convert into glutamate. So the formed glutamate undergo for deamination reactions, and it can liberate ammonia. So free ammonia liberate in this process. In transamination, only transfer of amine group occurs. Transfer of amine group occurs. But in the deamination process, complete removal of amine group from the structure of glutamate, and it can be liberated as free ammonia. So free ammonia is toxic to the body. So the toxic component convert into non-toxic urea. So urea is the excretory end product of protein metabolism. So it can be excreted through urine. Through the urine, so it can be eliminated. Here in the transamination process, keto acids can be formed. The formed keto acids can be utilized for production of energy or production of glucose molecules or production of fat, or it can also be utilized for production of non-essential amino acids. So this is overview of amino acid metabolism. Next, coming to the transamination reaction. So transamination is nothing but trans means transfer. So transfer of amine group from amino acid to keto acid is known as transamination reaction. So amino acid, here amino acid is having of amine group. So this amine group can be transferred onto the keto group. In this process, amine group of amino acid can be transferred onto the keto acid by the receiving of amine group. So keto acid can be converted into amino acid. Due to the loss of amine group, amino acid can be converted into keto acid. Here the enzyme is transaminase. So this reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme transaminase. So the coenzyme is pyridoxal phosphate. So pyridoxal phosphate is the coenzyme. This is very important for this transamination process. In the absence of pyridoxal phosphate, and this process cannot be taken place. Then coming to the features of transamination. So transamination require pyridoxal phosphate. So it is the derivative of vitamin B6, nothing but pyridoxine. So no free ammonia can be liberated in this process. Just transfer of amine group from amino acid to alpha keto acid taking place. No liberation of free ammonia occur in this process. Next, this process is reversible. So that means product can be converted into reactant and reactant converted into product. So such type of reactions are called reversible reactions. So transamination is a reversible process. and this process is important for production of non-essential amino acids. Non-essential amino acids are synthesized by the body. So the components what we have obtained in the transamination process can be utilized for production of non-essential amino acid. That is, the keto acids what we have obtained in the transamination process can be utilized for synthesis of non-essential amino acid. This process divert excess of amino acid to the production of energy. When we consume excess of proteinaceous food, then the proteins can be undergo for broken down into amino acid. So that amino acid enter into the blood circulation. So that amino acid can be utilized for production of energy. And this transamination process, shuffling of amine group among the amino acid, that means transfer of amine group can be shuffled between the amino acid and keto acid. So one amino acid loses amine group that can be accepted by the keto acid. Due to the receiving of amine group can be converted into amino acid. Due to the loss of amine group, amino acid converted into keto acid. So this reaction is catalyzed by transaminase in the presence of coenzyme pyridoxal phosphate. Coming to the mechanism. So transamination. So alanine, we are taking the example of one amino acid. The alanine in the presence of glutamate pyruvate transaminase enzyme, it can be converted into pyruvate by the loss of amine group. This amine group can be transferred onto the aldehyde moiety of pyridoxal phosphate. This is structure of pyridoxal phosphate. So the aldehyde moiety receives this amine group and it can be converted into pyridoxamine phosphate. So this is the pyridoxamine phosphate structure. So the pyridoxamine phosphate can be again converted into pyridoxal phosphate by the loss of amine group. So this amine group can be accepted by the alpha ketoglutarate. So alpha ketoglutarate can accept this amine group and it can be converted into glutamate in the presence of the same enzyme, glutamate pyruvate transaminase. Most of the amino acids donate their amine group to the alpha ketoglutarate, and this alpha ketoglutarate can be converted into glutamate. That's why glutamate can be called as collection center of amino groups. Next reaction is deamination. So D means removal. So amine means amine group. So removal of amine group from amino acid. So deamination means removal of amine group from amino acid as ammonia. So in this process, free ammonia can be liberated. So ammonia is toxic to the body, so it has to be converted into urea. It is the non-toxic component. So how does the urea can be formed? Is with the help of urea cycle. So both the transamination and deamination reactions occurs simultaneously. One after another, these reactions can be taken place. That's why we call these two reactions as trans-deamination. So the deamination process is two types. One is oxidative deamination, second one is non-oxidative deamination. Oxidative deamination, first we have to know about the oxidation. What is meant by the oxidation is addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogens. So in this process we have to go for removal of hydrogens from the structure. So that is called oxidation. So oxidative deamination occurs in the liver and kidney. Liver and kidney are the main location of these reactions. In this process, liberation of free ammonia takes place, and this ammonia can be used for urea synthesis. And in this process, liberation of alpha keto acids can also be occur. So these alpha keto acids can be utilized for production of energy. We have already discussed about this one, that is, most of the amino acid transfer their amine group to the alpha ketoglutarate to produce glutamate. So the glutamate is the end product of transamination process. So this glutamate can be undergo for oxidative deamination in the presence of enzyme glutamate dehydrogenase. glutamate dehydrogenase, and in this process removal of hydrogens can be taken place by the enzyme glutamate dehydrogenase. The coenzymes are NAD plus or NADP plus. So by the receiving of hydrogens from these, by the receiving of hydrogens from the glutamate, so NAD plus or NADP plus can be converted into NADH or NADPH respectively. So by the loss of two hydrogens, so it can be converted into glutamate, can be converted into alpha amino glutarate. So what is meant by amino is C double bond NH functionality is called amino functionality. So this amino functionality is present at alpha position. We call it as alpha amino glutarate. Again, hydrolysis of this alpha amino glutarate in the presence of the same enzyme, so glutamate dehydrogenase, so it can be converted into alpha keto glutarate by the loss of amine group as ammonia. So hydrolysis can be taken place in this reaction. So in this hydrolysis, and H2O is addition of water is nothing but the hydrolysis. So due to the hydrolysis, alpha amino glutarate can be converted into alpha keto glutarate, and it liberates free ammonia. It can be utilized for production of urea. Next one is non-oxidative deamination. Non-oxidative means without oxidation process, deamination process can be taken place. So deamination means removal of amine group. That means free ammonia has to be liberated, but without oxidation. That means no hydrogens can be removed from the structure. In this process, so some amino acids undergo deamination to liberate ammonia without oxidation. Examples are hydroxy group containing amino acid. So example serine and threonine. So these two are hydroxy group containing amino acid. In the presence of dehydratase, so PLP, pyridoxal phosphate, is the coenzyme in this process. In the presence of dehydratase, so serine and threonine can be converted into the respective alpha keto acids by the loss of amine group as ammonia. If you observe the structure of serine, serine is having CH2OH at R position. So the CH2OH, the hydroxy group and hydrogen of amine group can be eliminated as water molecule in the presence of serine dehydratase. So the coenzyme is pyridoxal phosphate. So due to the loss of water molecule, and the serine structure can be converted into alpha amino acid. The hydrogen of amine group is eliminated as H plus, and it eliminates as H plus by the donation of its electrons onto the nitrogen to form double bond between the carbon and nitrogen. That is, imine functionality develops. So we call it as alpha amino acid. This one undergo for hydrolysis in the same enzyme and coenzymes and liberate free ammonia. So upon hydrolysis, so liberation of ammonia taken place, we will get pyruvic acid as the end product, and liberation of free ammonia taken place. This can be go for production of urea. Next, amino acid desulfhydrases. Amino acid desulfhydrases, that means removal of sulfhydryl functionality. The examples for amino acids which undergo for desulfhydrase enzymatic reactions are sulfur containing amino acids, that is cysteine. If you observe the structure of cysteine, R is equal to CH2SH. This cysteine, the sulfhydryl group mercapto functionality can be eliminated as hydrogen sulfide gas by the receiving of H plus from amine group. Hydrogen can be eliminated as H plus by donation of its electrons onto the nitrogen to form double bond between the carbon and nitrogen. So this H plus can be accepted by the sulfur and they can be eliminated as H2S, hydrogen sulfide gas, in the presence of desulfhydrase enzyme. The liberated alpha amino acid can be undergo for hydrolysis to give free ammonia and pyruvic acid. So upon hydrolysis, So free ammonia can be liberated. Next, deamination of histidine. So histidine is a basic amino acid. So it can be undergo for histidase enzymatic activity. So in this reaction, liberation of free ammonia taking place and liberation of urocanate. Next one is decarboxylation. D means removal. So decarboxylation means removal of carbon dioxide from the amino acid. So from which position we have to remove carbon dioxide is COOH group. From COOH group we have to remove carbon dioxide. So decarboxylation means removal of carbon dioxide from carboxylic group of amino acid by the enzyme decarboxylase. So in this process there is liberation of amine group taken place. So upon decarboxylation we get amine group. The enzyme decarboxylase can be activated by the coenzyme pyridoxal phosphate. The tissues such as kidney, liver, brain and some microbes of gastrointestinal tract have this decarboxylase enzyme and they can do the decarboxylation process. In this process, amino acid which is having of amine group and carboxylic group can be undergo for removal of carbon dioxide from the carboxylic group and liberation of amine group taken place. So it can be eliminated. Carboxylic group can be converted into CO2. Generation of important biogenic amines. Due to the decarboxylation of amino acid, there is liberation of amines. So these amines are useful for the body. Some important biogenic amines which are produced by the decarboxylation process are thyramine, tryptophan and histamine. So these can be useful for the body. So first one is thyramine. So thyramine is the amine which can be produced by the decarboxylation of tyrosine amino acid. You know, tyrosine is an aromatic amino acid. So this tyrosine, upon decarboxylation in the presence of decarboxylase enzyme, the coenzyme is pyridoxal phosphate. The decarboxylation, that means carboxylic group of amino acid, can be eliminated as CO2 moiety, and finally we will get amine group. By the elimination of this carboxylic group, the remaining thing is amine group only in the structure. So by that process, the tyrosine can be converted into thyramine. So the location of this process is gut wall and kidney. In presence of sufficient quantity of oxygen only, this process taken place, and thyramine is useful for elevation of blood pressure. Next one is tryptamine. So tryptamine is an amine which can be produced upon decarboxylation of tryptophan. It is also an aromatic amino acid. Upon decarboxylation, in the presence of decarboxylation, and coenzyme is pyridoxal phosphate. So the carboxylic group of tryptophan eliminate as carbon dioxide. So the remaining thing is amine functionality in the structure. So tryptophan can be converted into tryptamine upon decarboxylation. Here the location occurs, this process occurs is liver and kidney and gut wall also. The use of this tryptamine is elevation of blood pressure. The very much important reaction is upon hydroxylation of this tryptophan at 5th position. If you start numbering, so nitrogen is the first priority. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Upon hydroxylation of tryptamine at 5th position, we will get 5-hydroxytryptamine. 5-hydroxytryptamine is also known as serotonin. So serotonin is very much important for the happiness. So the serotonin is the neurotransmitter which is responsible for the happiness of a person. Next one is Histamine. So histamine can be produced upon decarboxylation of histidine amino acid. It is a basic amino acid. Upon decarboxylation, in the presence of decarboxylase and PLP, so we will get histamine. So upon decarboxylation, COOH can be eliminated as CO2. The remaining thing is amine group only in the structure. So that is histamine. So histamine production is mainly occur in the mast cells. Histamine is responsible for vasodilation. Histamine can decrease the blood pressure, increase the pepsin and HCl in the stomach.